Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I should say a million times. welcome, everyone. Welcome to
Yeah, you
season
sound like Fozzie
three.
Bear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
season 3, episode 21. This is what happens when you click off. Because I was trying to look at what number we're on. Because I knew Alondo would want to know.
We're 86, right?
You got it. Yeah.
I don't know why I remember the numbers, but I just remember them. I'm counting down to 100.
All right, there we go.
A party.
At some point,
That's right.
We'll be at 100.
We'll be
July-ish, August, July, somewhere in there.
Centurions, I guess is that what it'd be called?
Sure.
You're 100.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Currently drinking a neat pour of Tempus. What is this? Tempus, is it Fujit?
It's creme de banana.
Creme de banane.
Okay.
I hope it's better than that 99 bananas. Remember that 99 bananas?
They make 99 strawberries now.
They make 99 everything now. They got like 99 watermelon, 99.
Yeah.
Was it lemon? Anyway, I can't remember all of them, but they make a whole bunch of different ones.
99 flavors of booze on the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fun times. Well, announcements. Let's see. There's no real announcements I have for the Cosme Reads. The Will Reads will not be recording tomorrow. So we're taking a week off.
Shoot, I didn't think about that. Next Monday, I'm going to be in Atlanta.
Oh,
yeah, you
Atlanta.
will.
Yeah, so...
Are you still going to be... You're still going to be in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm not flying back until Tuesday.
Okay, cool. That's right.
So I got to make sure I figure something out.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be in Charlotte. So we're not recording Will Reads because I'll be in meetings.
Ew.
Yay,
work.
Yay, work. Don't you love this light right there in the back outside?
Yeah.
I just...
Oh, other side.
Yeah.
I got one of those too. I tried to put my head in front of it.
Yeah, it's funny. So Dominion Power, who's Virginia's power company, if you want to go ahead and turn that off, you can anytime now. It's great. No one pays for it. Like we used to pay for it when we first moved in because it's a light on a telephone pole back there. And we told them we don't want to pay for it anymore, but they never came to turn it off. They just took it off our bill. So it's a free light.
Free lighting. There you go.
But I don't really want it. And I can't turn it off because it's up there in the air. And the power company has turned off. But whatever. Yay.
Yeah. This one's not a free light, but it is annoying.
No, that's free. That's
room.
free electricity right there. Some companies.
Yeah, you could just get a lamp though if you wanted to, right? Tree.
Yeah, I mean technically I do have a floor lamp over there.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'm not a fan of
room
overhead lights. I mean, like in this office, the only overhead light I have is the rope light I put up around the ceiling. That's just so I can give accents. But
slingshots have uses. They do. That is true.
Yeah, but now you're damaging public property.
Well, it's not public property; it's private.
Yeah, pseudo. I mean, it's a street light.
Kind of.
Yeah,
everything's legal if you don't get caught, Alondo.
Kind of. I mean, it's owned by Dominion Power.
If only Alan didn't admit possibly wanted to do something like that on a public forum.
Well, I mean, the power company
so I can't get in trouble.
The power company is a company, so therefore, does they do it in Canada too, where it's companies that do the electricity?
I don't know. I don't know stuff.
Or is the government?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it's a company that runs our
is it publicly?
I thought you were talking about the street lamps.
Is it publicly traded? Like you can actually buy stock in it, like you can in America. You can own stock in the power company.
I've never done stocks. I have no idea. I know nothing. I live under a rock.
Yeah.
I am barely an adult.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I just don't know how other countries do things because I'm just like stuck in my little American bubble. I'm like,
I can get my grandpa up here if you want to ask him about stocks.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay,
I'm good. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll be headed to Charlotte, North Carolina, North Kakalaki. So and then next week, Alondo, you'll be heading to Atlanta. Or you'll be in Atlanta.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll be in the land of Jordan Con.
The Jordan Con.
With me on a tablet, right?
Which has been
That's
There's been a fun
Yeah.
for the TV show, that's for sure. So I'm sure that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they release the next season.
I hope so.
Confirmation.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. That's all I got for announcements. No recording for Cosmic or for Wheel Reads. To be determined for Cosmic Reads.
And no Cosmere Reads next week.
We'll figure it out. Maybe.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I mean, I'll try and do my best to figure something out.
If you forget, we understand.
Yeah, it can always just be the Alan and Tree show.
It could be, but then we don't have a first-time reader, which is kind of...
He doesn't remember everything.
I don't want to do with Alan. That's weird.
Yeah. She doesn't remember all the details. I mean,
I know. I don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah, it's.
But we can't continue a chapter without you, Alando.
Okay.
Oh, new news in my world. There is a dumpster in front of my house now, so construction is moving. Yay!
Nice.
Yeah. So they delivered the dumpster today. So
congratulations on your dumpster.
I know. I've never been so excited to see a dumpster outside of my house than having to wait so long for the contractor to actually start this project, because now they can start demo, which I'm like, all right. So the house renovations are starting, I guess.
That's even more adulty than the traffic or the light conversation. The light,
it is. It's super adulty. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah, we're all adulting.
I know, it's gross. I want to stop it.
I know.
I didn't sign up for this.
I like Pythos. There you go. If I have enough I can be a first-time reader. Yeah, no one signs up for it.
You have enough rum, anybody becomes a first-time reader.
Yeah. Dumpsters are awesome. Everyone should have one. I mean, is that supposed to be like
we can do
metaphorical
trivia next week, Alan? Drunken trivia where I get drunk and you ask me questions that I don't remember about the books.
That's the episode.
Drunk history with Tree.
Drunk history with Tree.
For that one, I may not be able to participate. I'm definitely going to watch the recording.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We can do a special episode. If Lon doesn't make it, we can do a special episode. How about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things we can do. Yeah,
because
we can do a special episode.
I mean, because of course everything's going to depend on that internet. How the internet works on there.
That's true.
You're always at the mercy of whatever's going on. So
yeah. Well, enough talk about dumpsters and drinking. Let's talk about the Way of Kings.
All right.
CCC.
Yeah. So, chapter 56, that storming book. And we get more bitchographs. Light grows distant. The storm never stops. I am broken, and all around me have died. I weep for the end of all things. He has won. Oh, he has beaten us.
Sounds ominous.
It does.
And this was recorded seconds before somebody's death?
16 seconds pre-death. Subject was a Phelan sailor.
Right. It sounds like it's like the end of the world kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is this one of the subject is of particular note?
Nope. The next one is.
Next one. Okay.
Yeah. So fun times. So let's get right into it. So we're on another as a joint assault, right? Dalinar and Sadeas are attacking a plateau together again.
Yep.
And just when they think they've won, it looks like Parshendi are using the same tricks. They have a second army.
Well, it looks like they got some new tricks, I think.
They got a bunch of new tricks.
Around,
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I get interested every time he starts getting introspective. He starts wondering more and more about the Parshendi, because I think a lot about the Parshendi.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they understand of them is probably just barely scratching the surface.
Sure.
They don't have battle cries. They sing regardless of what's happening, in battle. The way they revere their dead. I mean, all of these things, I'm really intrigued by. And it seems like nobody else, in these armies really cares much. They're just they're subhuman or whatever they think of.
Well, they're not even really human. They're they look
crab
really
people.
Yeah, they're like crab people. because the carapace, like they wear crab people, like they wear their carapace on the outside, like it's part of their body. So
Right.
they're kind of like crab
I mean,
people.
the fact that they didn't even consider until this chapter about whether or not there's females.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I mean, this says how little they care about anything.
Right.
Yeah.
About their opponent.
Right.
And I mean, isn't that smart in battle to really understand? I mean, that sounds like something that, Sun Tzu would probably have some thoughts on, It's like, well, you got to really know your enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like they just don't care. They're just like fine with just going in there and killing them. So now they bring like these two armies and they think they're like, oh, well, we're one-upping these guys and we're going to just smack that ass. And then they're like, hold up. And then they bring a second army.
Right.
Yeah.
And almost took down Sadius. I mean, yeah. So it's like they really underestimate their opponent a lot, which I think is going to be their undoing at some point in time. I don't know when.
What do you think? Like the reason is why the Parshendi are pushing so hard now?
Why are they pushing so hard now? I don't know. I mean, nothing really comes to mind other than I feel like they probably had free reign of the Shattered Plains for a while, and then maybe it's like a religious type thing to them. I mean, they have like all this reverence for like their dead and what have you.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's hallowed ground to them. I mean, there could be like 1,000 different reasons, but I feel like there's a lot more to it than, oh, they're just trying to go out here and kill these chasm fiends and get get these stones. I think there's a lot more to it than that, and I think it's being distilled down to just basically, oh, we're just battling over some nonsense. I mean,
the Alethi definitely viewed the Parshendi as, like you said, subhuman, like less than. So
less than, yeah. I mean, you can leave it at that. Less than, basically. That's the way they treat that entire race.
Right. So they don't even care about what their motivations are. They just want to, like, they broke the Oath Pact, or they broke the pact. They made the peace treaty, and they broke the peace treaty the same night they signed it. And it's interesting to me, like how like the system. I mean, we've talked about this, I think, a little bit. We've hinted around it at least, but like how originally this whole war started over honor, and it's just become a money thing. And how much does that reflect our society? Like we're like, how many? I mean, I'm not going to get too political here, but like, how many times have we started wars to spread democracy, and then you look at the root cause, it's like, no, it's just for money.
Like every time.
It's just like
every banana republic that we set up, it's all about the money. Always about
it's always the money.
I had like a super simple idea why they were doing
Casino. It. Joe Pesci's character says at casinos, it's always the dollar. It's always the dollar. Yeah.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Always money in the banana stand. I told you, there's always money
in the banana
stand. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Arrested Development. Man, I love that
great show.
Oh my gosh! Yes, the first 3 seasons are awesome.
Yeah.
Season 4, okay. Season 5 wasn't that, but it had a couple moments. But yeah. 4 and 5.
Yeah. The first couple of episodes.
First 3 are like exceptional,
fantastic,
exceptional seasons of television.
Have you ever seen Arrested Development?
No.
Homework.
I know. I have so much homework.
Have you seen Schitt's Creek?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that most Canadians I've talked to have said they've seen Schitt's Creek, because that originated in Canada, right?
Yes.
That show, yeah. Because Moira Rose is like my spirit animal. She's
great.
She's the best.
Fold in the cheese.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. You fold in.
I can't show you everything, David. Can you show me this one thing?
Well,
she said, "Hey, bitch." She can't pronounce baby right. Come on.
Baby.
I was trying to figure out how to segue to Dalinar going beast mode, but I can't really. So at this point,
Nah, not from Schitt's Creek.
no, not Schitt's Creek.
No.
So
you know what I was thinking is now that they've teamed up. Like I had like a really surface level reason that they've all teamed up. So now we have Dalinar, Evelyn, and Sadeas all with shard plate.
Not shards.
So I thought the Parshendi were honing in and put an extra force in to try and get that shard plate.
Interesting.
But you guys went deep.
Yeah. I don't know what the Parshendi strategy is here.
No. Just give it all.
I do, but I'm not
gonna... You know what they remind me of? Stabby grasshoppers.
Stabby grasshoppers.
Because they said they can jump over the chasms, right?
They can.
So can
Dalinar with shard plate because he does it.
That's true. But I thought he could only jump over like the smaller ones. I don't know.
Pythos, you were just a callback. It's only a dumpster if it comes from the dumpster. In France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling
garbage.
Sparkling garbage.
Oh my goodness. That's right. The same thing about champagne and sparkling wine is the same thing as tequila and mezcal. It's got to come from, or bourbon, the same situation. It's got to come from a certain area, and it's got to have a certain mix of corn and rye and all that. So, yeah. If you want to get it certified, it's got to be like from this particular area.
Yeah. I mean, Bordeaux is from Bordeaux, France. Same with Champagne. France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of those regions. Burgundy, France, or yes, Burgundy is part of France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Burgundy used to be its own country before the death of who was the king that died? Philip? No, it wasn't Philip.
Philip was French.
Mm-hmm. That was Spain.
Right.
Spain.
I mean, Spain.
Spain.
You're talking about France, and I was thinking to myself.
It was in the 1400s.
You know what I meant.
The king of Burgundy died, and his heir was his daughter, and she took over. But then I guess France's king was next in line if the daughter died, and she fell off a horse. Like, there's a whole entire thing that, like, a weird series of events that happened where Burgundy got basically annexed into France, like, instantly by really, like, suspicious ways. But
yeah, I've never really got
history.
Incest families. I've never been about them. Them incest families, they can keep to themselves. I'm just like, y'all do that. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Enjoy the inbreeding and the genetic defects that go along with it.
Right.
Which they had plenty. It's the reason why a lot of them were mad and all kinds of issues.
Mm-hmm.
All the health issues.
Yep. And I guess Philip had one son. It was Ferdinand, right? Ferdinand of Castile, and then Isabel of Aragon. And you had the Iberian wedding where the two got married. And that's where Spain was formed after the country of Aragon and Castile merged to form Spain. Fun times. Yay for European history. Duke Charles. Thank you. Duke Charles, by the way. Thank you. Duke Charles. Thanks. That's what it was.
Oh, I would have never gotten there, dude.
It was Charles. Duke Charles. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was independent. That's when it got annexed into France. Yay. Someone else knows their random obscure European history too.
Monarchy stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, fun times. So Dalinar comes flying over the chasm, shards out to help fight for his old friend, and just starts mowing down Parshendi. I mean, like, single-handedly, like, just death everywhere.
Yeah, every swing takes out dozens.
Yeah. And, Sadeas is kind of surprised by it, but at the same time, Dalinar is horrified by this because he's having these second thoughts while the battle's happening. Like, he's having a conscious, like, come in being like, what are you doing? Like,
but he said right before that, oh, thank goodness I'm not having those regretful thoughts again. 5 minutes later, oops, here come the regretful thoughts again. Yeah, so much so he's like, afterwards he almost throws up. Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, Pythos knows a lot about European. Yeah, the land went to Louis, but Charles' daughter married the Habsburgs, who was the head of Austria, the empire.
Right.
And that's what started the French-Austrian War, was over Burgundy, because the daughter fell off a horse and died. And because of the marriage, Austria laid claim to Burgundy, and so did France at the same time, and started a war over it. Thank you. Obscure European history.
Yay. I just thought Burgundy was a color. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a whole region. It used to be its own country. Sort of, kind of.
And if you want to get into stuff, get into the Basque region of France and Spain. That's all kinds of interesting. Love that. I like all the history of that. I have to hear about all that. Yeah, I love that stuff. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, we're getting too much into European history.
I minored in medieval and Renaissance studies. Yeah, well, that's around that time. It was a short class, I'm sure. I was one class short. Oh, you're one class short of minoring or majoring? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Go back to school. Get her done.
Anyway, fun times. So now that we've got completely tangents, which has nothing to do with all this, Dalinar's having a conscience. So what do we think about that? What do you think about this whole thing and the storing book that's making him actually feel?
Stupid books.
Stupid
books are the worst. Make you think,
making him have emotions,
and learn stuff, and see different perspectives on the world.
How dare
I mean, Adolin's over there, like yelling at his dad, like, "What's going on over there?"
Where are you? I'm in a glass case of emotion.
I'm in a glass case of emotions.
But also, we're doing really great because it's only 9:25, and we're actually talking about the book already.
We are.
And we have not talked about food.
We haven't talked about food. We haven't talked about anything.
You talked about folding cheese.
We talked about a dumpster.
We did talk about dumpster.
Yeah, we did talk about.
We're doing great. That's all I'm saying.
We're doing fantastic.
Yeah, we are.
So thoughts on it? Anything? Nothing.
On the regret he has, or the
this is the regrets in general.
moment of conscience. I don't know. I don't really see much into it.
Okay,
dig too much into that, as much as I think he might be having these moments of crisis because he's thinking more about the enemy than anybody else does.
Right.
But I think he might be starting to question the motives.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just subconsciously, I think he's starting to question the motives of exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. And Sadius is like shocked. He's like, "Why would you risk this to come save me?" And Dalinar repeats, like the Way of Kings. And Sadius is like, "Really? That book again? Okay, it's that storing book. Those ideals are going to get you killed one day," is pretty much what he says. So
yeah, but then he starts to sound like he's a little interested in it.
A little bit.
It's like he's like, maybe I should start. Maybe I should check this thing out, see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knew there was gonna be a problem that he was gonna have a problem with the fact that he saved him on a solo run, basically.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, 'cause that's a lot to risk. I mean,
it is.
I mean, the shard plate was giving, which we know at the end, he actually got this like that, gaping hole in the back of it when he finishes up.
Yep.
What if they had gotten his blade?
Yep.
I mean, what does that do? So that's a huge risk.
It's a big gamble.
Yeah. I think he was thinking with his heart there instead of thinking with his head. Obviously, but if he hadn't gotten there when he did, he wouldn't have been able to help. I didn't even think about the fact that Sadius didn't have a blade. All he has is the plate.
Yeah.
So all he was using was an axe that he got from one of the Prescendi.
Yeah.
So, he's doing his best, but that means that everybody around him must have gotten mowed down.
Yeah.
Because would he be riding at the front? I wouldn't think he would be.
No, he stayed by the back. How they
but the second army
the second army showed up and came and flanked them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. So, but still, they would have come. They still had to get obliterated though, for them to get that close to him. So that means
they were really coming for it.
They really like they were there. That was like victory right on the cusp.
Yeah, because we already know Sadeas's army isn't as well trained as Dalinar's, right? So they were in a place just thinking they were on watch, right? Like we're just gonna watch Dalinar's army like kick ass. Like we did our job, we got here fast. Now Dalinar sweeps up.
They
weren't ready. They're not trained. Like they got snuck up on bad.
Yeah, definitely. They got the drop on them.
Yep. Indeed. That's kind of how we end this chapter, right? Is there anything else?
Yes, can we talk about how much of a good boy Gallant is?
He's
the best boy.
Yeah.
I was so scared for him.
Man, I thought this was going to be like when my horse died in that game, Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. And it's like you have to bury your horse, and it's like, oh man,
that's
you like,
awful.
Oh, it was like the roughest thing. I mean, stuff happened in video games. Sometimes you like, man, I don't really feel that much. When your horse dies, and this is the horse that has carried you like the entire game.
That's awful.
Just don't give into the sadness. Don't give into the sadness. Don't give into the sadness.
That's fine. Don't talk. I got it. Give me a second. Never ending story.
Yes.
Damn it, Alondo.
I was gonna get there. It's just
Alondo. Why?
Don't give into the sadness.
What's his name? Atreyu.
Atreyu is the name of the guy. Artrax.
Something.
Artrax. How can I not remember?
Yeah.
Oh man.
By the way, starts with an A and ends with an X.
Yeah, I can't want to say Ajax or something like that, but I know it's not Ajax.
This is not a Will Reads podcast. We will not be doing that.
Artax
has got to be. It's got to be something like that, right?
Okay, but Gallant, it was really cool because Dalinar's like, all right, I'm not gonna risk my horse anymore at the first, when he was going in at first. So he sent him back with the handlers. Everything was fine, and then Sadeas got jumped. So then he's like, Gallant, and he calls to his horse, and his horse is like, peace, gotta go. Goes, runs up to Dalinar. I just imagine the horse has arms and picks him up and puts Dalinar on his back, and then just goes and saves Sadeas' butt. And he got a big cut.
Oh yeah, he got gashed, and that's the reason why he sends him off after he gets over a certain point. He's like, "Go."
He says, "No, sir, I just don't like it."
Yes, sir.
No, sir, I just don't like
it. Also spoken by a horse.
Yes,
from Ren and Stimpy.
No, sir, I just don't like it.
Shoot, the other horse name I was thinking about. Now I remember the other horse. We keep talking about something axe, and I was like, "There's another horse." That kind of Shadowfax. Shadowfax is Gandalf's horse in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah, but he sends that horse off, and this horse is not a regular horse.
No,
Gallant is not a regular horse.
No,
Gallant is a unit.
Yes,
he's a big unit. Because he's got to be big, obviously, to carry a dude with all that shard plate on him, right? But,
and he's smart. He's like a puppy. He's like a dog. He's smart.
Oh yeah, no, he's a good boy.
Yeah. See, I'm not actually familiar with courses at all, so I don't know if they follow voice commands or anything like that. Like I
mean, horses,
I don't know. They're smart too, but I don't know if they're like dog smart, where you can just tell them to do a thing.
Yes, they do.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they can respond to whistles and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, they do respond to voice commands. 100% do.
Yeah.
So they are like big puppies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can train them to do all kinds of things. I mean,
and they can be very stubborn too.
Just like dogs. I mean, you can get a stubborn dog that won't do anything, what you ask to tell it to do.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, I've never really been like exposed to a lot of horse things or horse people.
My ex owned a horse, so I spent plenty of time around horses when I was in that relationship. So you're
a horse expert.
Not really. I just had to clean the stalls a lot because when you date someone that has horses, they put you to work by mucking the stalls. It's not
that
fun.
Makes sense. That's what I would do.
No, it's not fun.
Impress me. Go clean the stall.
Yeah.
Get down that mucky muck.
Muck. Yeah. Go clean the stalls out.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I've ridden a lot when I was in a previous life. I have not ridden in years, but I did ride a lot back then. But
I have never been on the back of a horse.
No,
really?
I've ridden a horse.
That's fun.
And I plan on going down at the end of my life.
I never did
able to say I've never been on the back of a horse.
Wow.
It does not appeal to me whatsoever.
Yeah,
I love horses. I think they're great. I don't really. I'm not interested
That's
in riding.
fine.
We used to go on trail rides, and I would just go ride around the woods and go through the trails and try to get the house.
I did one trail ride like that in Cuba, and then one we have like the escarpment here. So I was little, and we did the escarpment trail, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
But like, you just sit on them, and you like, okay, kick your feet to go, or pull this to stop. You know, it was like very simple stuff like that. Regular horse stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Not like gallant.
Have you ever ridden on any like camel or anything like that, Orlando? Have you ever done any kind of animal back?
Yeah, I've ridden on a donkey. I've ridden on.
I don't think I've ever ridden on a donkey.
What else have I ridden on?
I've ridden an elephant, but I done a chair.
I refused to do that. So we were in Thailand, and my wife wanted to have a baby elephant at the wedding. And I told her, I was like, I refuse unless I know it's been treated well. And a lot of those elephants in Thailand are not treated well. And I was like, unless I can find a place that did it ethically.
Yeah. So it wasn't a chair. I refused to do one when they had a chair because I know those were always horrible for them. It was bareback. And I know the place where I did it, they stopped letting people ride them. So they don't do it anymore.
Or those one. The other thing in Thailand too is they have a lot of those places where you can like get up close to tigers. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Those tigers are terribly treated. Yeah. That's the reason why they have no fight in them. Right. And then they drug them and stuff. I was like, nope. I was supporting that. I was like, I don't care what kind of Instagram picture people try. I'm not the one. I don't care. Yeah. So. Yeah, but I love horses. I mean, look, I'm gonna have a Kentucky Derby party. I like watching all the horse racing and all that kind of stuff. It just for some reason, it's just not really appealing to me to be on the back of one. So
that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, but I love horses. I mean, in general, like if somebody's got a horse, I'm like, oh, I'll pet it and feed it and all the things. I won't do the muck cleaning though. Then I do all that. But
yeah. Anyway. Fun times. So anything else from this chapter before we move to the Wander Sale?
Not that I can remember anything from this chapter. Other than, well... No, that happens in the next chapter. Never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
Next chapter's with Kaladin going down.
Right. So I was going to mention the first thing that happens in the next chapter, which is... he starts right out the gate.
Yep. So Wander Sale. I hold the suckling child in my hands, a knife at his throat, and know that all who live wish me to let the blade slip, spill its blood upon the ground over my hands, and with it gain us further breath to draw. It's kind of.
That's the one that was special note.
Yeah, that was 16 seconds pre-death subject. No, this was 23 seconds pre-death. Subject was a dark-eyed youth of 16 years. Sample is of particular note.
Yeah. Whatever that situation was that they were living in that moment sounds awful.
Doesn't sound great, no. So yeah,
it was very poetic though, which I thought was interesting.
It was.
It was laid down like a Emily Dickinson poem or something.
But a kid, a suckling child, so like an infant in my hands, knife at his throat. And I know that all who live wish me to let the blade slip. Huh. Anyway.
How many breaths can a little infant take that is going to save everybody for that much longer anyway? And at this point, I'm assuming they're all in a room with limited oxygen, either because they're buried under something or in a underwater
that is
boat.
Not how I interpret the breath, but
that's not how I interpret it either. So that's interesting. I like hearing your take though, because I didn't read it that way.
I read it further breaths, which means less people that are breathing the air means other people get a little bit more air.
I was thinking more about breaths another way, but we'll talk to that when we get to that book.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm on to you.
You figured it out.
And I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have more questions, but I'm afraid to ask because I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to ask it anyway. So do these like things have stuff to do with the other Cosmere books? What? That's crazy. I thought they were just like historical from this world, maybe. Like maybe it's like a Wheel of Time, like other lives thing.
But we have characters from other worlds in this book. And we're going to talk about one right now, actually, in a little bit. First, talk about Maps.
Yeah, we have another death battle right away. Yeah, another Obitugraph. Back to back.
Yep. Takes an arrow to the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got eviscerated. Sounds like.
Yeah, he describes how the arrow went through, punctured the lung, all that stuff.
Yeah,
hit it and actually hit his backbone. The arrow went all the way through, penetrated, and lodged into his backbone.
I thought at one point they said his insides were splayed out for the sun to dry.
Oh yeah. Well, that was
I think
that was
shot
just in general.
and sliced.
Was that just him, or was that like a bunch of people? I thought
that might have been other people. I don't know. I thought it was all him.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was awful. Poor Max.
Yeah, it was. And Kaladin's completely agonized over it, and as he always does with the loss, he doesn't handle it well, which rightfully so. I mean, I'm not trying to discount not handling having friends and people you care about die around you. Not saying that's, but Kaladin definitely, it points out, the book always points out how Kaladin feels about it.
The only reason he feels like this, though, is because he got lulled into a sense of basically a sense of being above, not being above, but being like invulnerable, because they just had so few deaths for like a while.
Right.
And so he got lulled in the sense of like, oh, we're doing pretty good. You know, it's like we only had like one injury or something like that. And everybody else was like, you know, going back and like, you know, whole bridge crews are like decimated. And now he's having to deal with these deaths again. And that's the reason. But I mean, that's the way it was supposed to be this whole time, was he was supposed to be losing like this many people.
Oh, sure. Especially everyone. You know, he's supposed to be dead. That's the whole point. They've been trying to kill him forever.
Right. So he just got lulled into this false sense of confidence that they were like, again, invulnerable and like, oh, well, you can't hurt us. And now they're like losing people. They're still losing them at a slow rate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're not being replenished.
Right.
And that's the reason why it's, you know, decimating his bridge crew so much.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, but the only reason he feels depressed is just because, you know, the situation where he had like a few great runs, you know, stellar set of runs, where he only lost like maybe like 1-2 people tops, and now he's like losing, you know, a few, you know.
Yeah. What was it, like 2 more since Dunny, I think they mentioned?
I don't remember the numbers, but I mean, that could be right.
There was like a one-off name that was mentioned in this chapter. It was like, who's Dunny? And then this person that I can't remember his name, and then Maps.
Yeah.
So that's really not that bad. I mean, it sucks losing anybody, of course, but
right.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of which, R.I.P. Pope.
Yep.
Pope Francis.
R.I.P. Pope Francis.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. On Easter's weekend too.
Mm-hmm.
Super sad.
Yep. It is. So after the bridge run, Kaladin goes.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah. Oh no, Pope.
Segue to Tef getting his.
We just took a little moment there for the Pope.
No, took a little moment of silence for Pope.
He poured out a little 40 for the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Kaladin insists on treating Tef's wounded arm. And Tef uses this opportunity to start trying to test Kaladin. He's like, so anything odd happened recently? And he's like, no. Why? And he goes, it's like, what, dude? What are you? Breathes in like, gotcha. And he's like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, look at your spheres. Look at them. He's like,
yeah.
And then he's like, dude, you're glowing.
Yeah. The one I'm her Dazian was like,
gotcha.
You're glowing.
Yeah.
Look, for anybody out there that don't know the movie, The Last Dragon, that's all I thought about this whole time. Go look it up, people.
Okay.
That glow, the movie that was done by Barry Gordy.
Okay.
The Motown dude. And it's like, yeah, you got that glow. Bruce Leroy.
He's like, but Alan, you missed something right before that happened.
What did I miss?
We got our first Bridge 4.
Bridge 4.
Yeah, they did it. And Kaladin's like, what's that? And Teft was
that's
like,
right.
oh, they wanted a salute, but we couldn't do the regular one they had, so I gave them one from my old squad. The Bridge 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bridge 4.
Now Alana knows what that is.
Now Alana knows Bridge 4.
True. But I forgot you guys did it. You guys only did it one time, though.
Did it one time early on.
You did it right at the beginning when it was like they got introduced to Bridge 4. In fact, the chapter was called Bridge 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the first time
y'all did it. And
you're like, what? Y'all did Bridge 4, and I was like, oh, what's that? You guys will find out later. And then it never. And it was never mentioned again.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Now it's like SpongeBob. 6 months later.
6 months later, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you know.
So yeah. And also Lopin notices that Kaladin's medical pack is sticking to the side of the barrel. And he's like, and Kaladin starts panicking. He's like, what's going on with me? Yeah. Why is this? What's happening? I mean, because I guess stuff like this has been happening around him, but like he's never really paid much attention to it. And now that it's being like directly pointed, like, look at this. He's like, what is wrong with me? And
you're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard. And a thumping good one, I wager.
Yeah, what was it? He thought he put the medic pack down on a table, but he actually just stuck it to the wall.
The side of the barrel, yeah.
Oh, the side of the barrel, yeah.
And then the powers finally drift off, and the thing falls to the ground, and Kaladin runs off to try to get rid of the storm light, trying to figure out what's wrong with him. He runs into Syl, and he's like, "Syl, what'd you do to me?" And she's like, "Well, so it's like, so you're not a Windspren?" Like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, we got a lot of info there.
She's like, what are you? He's like, I don't remember what I am, but I'm something else. I know I'm something else. And memories are coming back. But I don't know.
Things.
But I bind things. She's like, are you a bind spring? I guess. I don't know.
She keeps saying she doesn't remember.
You gotta give me a label.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember what she was.
And she says, he asks Syl, like, is this because of you? And she's like, not really. She says, because of both of us. Like,
it's because of us.
It's because of us.
It sounds like a 80s romance song.
Right.
It's not because of me, it's because of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Kaladin is changing because of her, but she takes something from him and gives something in return. So, kind of cryptic, but she's like, but I don't really remember what it is. So it's weird.
So, all those times that she's been messing with people, like basically doing the equivalent of tying the shoelaces together, playing like little tricks and stuff. She made it sound like it requires like two participants have to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So how was she doing that then? Does that mean that the person she was tricking was like the unwilling participant then too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of questions about that because she makes it sound like she can't do this stuff by herself, which is fine because I'm like, why isn't she the one like taking these like the gems and like attaching them to the bottom of the
we're back to
platforms?
That.
I was like, if she has the ability to like do stuff, move stuff around, why isn't she doing that? But now it sounds like she can only do that if nice, just the two of us.
I was thinking back to that first
chapter. Smooth R&B span.
Where Kaladin was holding the cup and his fingers got stuck to it and he blamed her. I was like, was that Kaladin sticking himself to the cup with the stormlight?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When he blames Syl for that? Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, he blamed her for that. He's like, Windspren are always doing silly pranks like that.
Yeah.
Right? But
his understanding of Spren, by the way, which he explains, that I never thought of Spren the way he thinks of Spren.
Yeah.
He thinks of Spren as causing things like rot Spren
caused. And she calls him out on that. Is that the way Spren works?
Yeah, that up too. You're like, does the rot never cause them, or is it cause?
I'm like, that never made sense to me. Like even like all the other Spren types that have shown up, it's like they're around that particular action or something, and they show up.
Right.
But I think they're just indicative of like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's the same with Rot.
There is wind.
Yeah, the rust medicine causes sickness. It just shows up when there is sickness.
That it did.
But Kaladin had always thought, yeah, that's because I guess when you have things like this in this world, like people just have always made like wives' tales and urban legends around like that's cause and effect.
Yeah.
You know, for the
malaria.
Like we know antiseptic.
I mean, malaria is. I mean, literally, the word means bad air. And that's what people thought it was. They thought it was bad air, and it's like it's not bad air. It's mosquitoes.
That's
I mean, I mean, before we knew what sickness was, before we knew about microbiology, there was a lot of that happened, and that's how people understood disease was like, oh, it's because of this.
Yeah.
This the reason why.
Even the doctor, the first doctor that recommended washing your hands was laughed at.
Right.
He was. I mean, think about this. This guy recommended putting soap and water on your hands to wash off bacteria and was laughed at by the community. I mean, basically,
because no one knew what it was.
Ostracized. He was ostracized for it. All he was trying to do was he's like, hey, look, it's not going to hurt anything. And you're like, it hurts our pride, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
yeah, but it's like they look at the wrong things. They look at the wrong thing for the cause. And in this particular instance, he's looking at the sprint is the cause, and it's that's just
he's been taught that this stuff scares the spren, right? He's like, oh, antiseptic
correlation
scares
does not equal causation. Correlation does not equal causation.
Well, that's definitely true. Yeah.
His mind is expanding.
Yeah.
He's starting to believe.
He's starting to believe, but he wanders off because he's like, no, I need to get away, be myself for a bit, and he goes down towards the chasms and finds a strange light-eyed person playing a flute, which he's like, why are you here? And he's like,
but he says he's playing the flute and kind of talking, where it sounds like two people doing something, but he's like, but they're doing it he's like, they're doing it in concert, but there's only one person. He's like, how?
Yeah. Well, he goes up to him and asks him who he is. He goes, I go by many names. You know, I'm the King's Wit. He goes, well, what's your name? And he goes, you can just call me Hoyd. But I go by lots of different names. It's not my real name. That's what you can call me. And he's like, well, I've had enough talk. I'm going to leave. He goes, and then he says his name. He's like, Kaladin, we need to talk. And he's like, wait, how do you know my name? He's like, come back here. We have to talk.
Right.
He's like, how do you know who I am? He goes,
yeah.
Let me tell you a story. He goes, well, you can't do that with the flute at the same time. He goes, oh no, watch this. And starts to play his magical flute and lets it echo throughout the canyon. And as then starts to tell his story as the music continues to echo, and starts into the story of Darethel and the Wander Sail, about this boat that was built to go try to figure out the origin of the storm, and they end up finding this random island with this really strange community, and goes through the whole entire tale about how if anybody did anything wrong, they would just kill them outright, because that's what the Emperor wanted. And eventually the crew gets sick of all this because it just seems like pointless deaths, and they storm the
because it's like the girl like spilled like a cup.
Right, she spilled a cup and they killed her. Like,
and they're just like,
the Emperor must
be killing time. I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah. So they go and storm the Citadel or whatever where the Emperor's supposed to sit, and realize the Emperor's been dead for years, which causes mass riots. And they escape, and some of the people join them on the crew, and they ask what happened. This is, well, basically they had to take their own responsibility for years and years of killing, where they could always blame it on someone else. This is the rules. But now that wasn't the rule. That was just you, because he's been dead. So goes through the morals of it and everything like that. Kaladin asks a bunch of questions like, what's the point of the story? He goes, whatever you want it to be. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, a good storyteller doesn't tell you how to think about a story. It just gives you lets you come up with it yourself.
Right.
Which I like that aspect of storytelling too. Like where you leave it on let the person who is reading or listening to the story interpret it their own way, and not try to force the moral or anything on them. Let them figure it out. There's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever it means to you. Which I love that concept of storytelling. So it's just fun. But yeah. So thoughts about all the story, about this interaction with Hoyd, and There's a couple little drops there that were kind of hinted in there about some things, such as like age and things like that. And
you got your little grin going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been some good drops.
There was. There's little hints. A lot.
Yeah,
actually, there was lots of hints.
Okay, so there was that thing about
definitely Cheshire right now, buddy, because you are grinning.
I know, right? There was that thing about Hoyd's original name being after a stone.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really mean very much to me. The only like significant stone that I can think of is the Oath Stone.
Mm-hmm.
You're nodding like I'm onto something, but I don't have any more thoughts to go along with them.
Sure.
Yeah, and then he said something about, not wearing the stone anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's free now. I don't know.
He's free.
That's the only correlation I had with that. This whole scene is a trip, though. Like, him playing and telling the story, as you said, like, that's kind of weird. How do you do that? Does he play the flute with his nose?
And then the smoke basically making the forms of the the images of like.
But
the
it's so subtle. Like, Cal doesn't know. If
he's like, did I actually? Did I witness that, or is my mind
until he sees the tower before he says the word tower, right?
Yeah. Right.
Then we know it's really there. Sorry, I'm getting cozy.
It's all good. Yeah. How old do you think Hoyt is?
Hoyt is as old as you want him to be, because I feel like Hoyt is us.
It's us. Hoyt is us.
Hoyt is a reader reading these books.
Hoyt is everywhere.
Hoyt is life.
Hoyt is omniscient. Yep. There it is. Hoyt is the reader.
I will tell you, that was one question I did ask the lore keeper at JordanCon so Brandon Sanderson's official lore keeper for all Cosmere was at JordanCon a few years ago. And I did ask her who was Hoyt. I
was there for that.
Yeah, you were right there. Which I feel like I wasted a question because her answer was a character in the Cosmere, and I was like, "That sucks."
Her eyes lit up though when you said that.
She did light up.
I feel like that's the most obvious question. I mean, nobody's going to answer that question.
No, they're not going to. But it was for a ribbon, so you had to ask a random question. So it's like if you ask a Cosmere question, you get a ribbon. So I was like, "Who's Hoyt?" Like
you could have asked, "What is love?"
What is love?
And then immediately say, "Baby, don't hurt me."
Yeah, I asked about another character's favorite hat.
Hoyt is the square root of -1 years old. Thank you, Pipes.
There you go.
Hoyt is infinity and beyond.
Imaginary numbers.
It depends. Like, you can't really put an age to him because he's been on all these different planets and they all have their own time systems.
Yeah.
Again, I think Hoyt is a reader.
It's a reader. Okay.
It's the reader. It's somebody outside of the universe looking into the universe and able
watcher.
To pop. Yeah, like the Watcher. That's yep. Like, what's his name? The Watcher's name? Uatu? I think his name's Uatu.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
That's I think he's in the book I'm reading now. So I'm reading Robin Hobb series, and there's a character, the Fool, actually, and I'm like, that's Hoyt. Hoyt is in this Robin Hobb book somehow.
Oh, Hoyt's everywhere.
Hoyt's everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody else has read the Elderling series, and I can't remember all of them. It's like 5 series, but they're all in trilogies, but they all kind of go together. I can't remember the name of the whole series right now. I'm blanking on it. You'll know what I mean. Hoyt is the Fool.
Hoyt is the Fool. That fits. So after hearing this story, Kaladin decides that, he must take responsibility and do whatever he can to save Bridge 4 is kind of the moral he's pulling out of this, is that, he has to take responsibility, even if it means embracing his strange and frightening powers. And then after all this, Hoyt decides to give him a gift. He's like, I've spent a time with this flute. I'm going to give it to you. And Kaladin's like, what if I don't want it? It's like, too bad. It's yours now. It's like, well, what if I just give it to someone else? Because I expect you to have it when I see you again, and I will see you again.
Well, he gives up the ghost that his apprentice is Zixil.
Yes, he does.
That was cool.
I was like, that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Got it. And then he says, I'll give it to Zixil. He's like, no,
you
gave it to you,
you,
sir. you better hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
learn to
I don't
play
know
it.
what's special about the flute. Something. He needs it for something, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yep. But Kaladin
Maybe.
didn't
Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
Go ahead. No, more theories. Go
I
for
was
it.
just gonna say maybe someone is gonna like sneak up on him in the middle of the night, and the only weapon is the extra heavy, weird flute. Boy, I
Maybe
can see the
you
future.
like be able to control a bunch of rats and do like the Pied Piper.
Oh my
and
God.
just lead an army of rats into battle.
Maybe.
And maybe.
I'm hoping he can actually use the flute to actually like put light back into stones.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh.
That would be a cool feature if he could do that. Like,
yeah,
because it's got obviously some type of power to it. I mean, if it can do this thing where it's like it manipulates like smoke and whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe he gets good at it. I feel like this is going to be like the holophone that they have in Futurama. It's like really hard to learn how to play, and so Fry is always trying to like play it for Leela, and he can't.
Maybe if you play the notes just right, not only will it call his horse, but it'll also turn back time. And sorry, Zelda references if you didn't catch that.
Remember, I'm not going to know.
I know.
Ocarina.
Ocarina.
Ocarina. Ocarina. Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe it's a really tiny spaceship.
Maybe.
What is that linked to?
I'm sorry, I missed this.
My
Rather
brain.
than an army of rats, it's an army of crabs. Duh.
Obviously.
Like a Pied Piper with tons of little crabs.
Yes.
100%.
You remember, we've talked about this before. Everything evolves into a crab. So
crab theory. The crab evolution theory.
That's right. Crab evolution. Crab people.
Crab people. Kaladin then returns back and confronts Tef. He's like, so what do you know about this? Yeah, and how did you know what he was? And Tef goes on to talk about when he was a youth, and he was part of a secret society that awaited the return of the Knights Radiant. He's like, yeah. And Tef's like, yeah, I know a thing or two.
Yeah, but Kaladin, like, thinks immediately that he's not being told the whole story.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting, because he doesn't push him on that. He doesn't say, oh, well, I feel like you know more than you're saying, but he didn't push it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows?
And at the end, doesn't Syl come back at the very, very end? And like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, she does. And she says she'll stop if he wants her to. But she says she'll forget everything about who she is as, a person.
And she'll just go back to drifting on. Yeah. She'll leave him. And
she's like, I don't want to do this, but I'll do it for you.
If you want me to, I will leave you.
Yeah. You know Kaladin's not going to let that happen. Come on
now.
Yeah. No, he just wants somebody to blame because he's weird.
Exactly.
He's weird.
He's like, I'm glowing. I don't like glowing. What is this, Chernobyl?
Normal people don't glow.
Normal people do not glow. You got that glow?
Maybe he's pregnant.
Maybe I was about to say that. Maybe he's pregnant.
You're so
no, wait.
Wait.
No, maybe he's, what was it, the video? Maybe he's Gregnant. Because remember the video and all these people misspelling that.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pregnant.
It was like all these people just like
it was all these like tweets or like our text messages like
they were like it was all like Ask Yahoo and stuff or something like that.
How do you know
my friend actually did
how do you know if you're pregnant?
If you're pregnant.
It was
if you're
pregnant for some reason. She wrote IR instead of P. It was weird, but I was like, pregnant is what you take to not get pregnant. I was like,
oh my goodness.
He reversed pregnant. That's where my brain went with that.
I think this was on like TikTok for a while or something like that, where like someone like it might have been on even goes back further than that, but like someone made a video. It's like, does anybody know where the clitoris is? And they're like, yeah, it's the guy that like sailed across the Atlantic to find the. No, that's Columbus. You're talking about. And it goes on this chain for like
it goes forever. Yeah,
forever.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. And the next person is like, no, actually, that was.
Oh, yeah. No, that's.
There's a whole scene in Sinners where he talks about how to work that thing.
Yeah.
Talks about he compares it to licking ice cream.
I use glow sticks for my glow. You know, back
I feel
in the
like I
day,
shouldn't be here for this conversation.
there used to be
we're all adults here. It's a movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good movie, by the way. I watched that movie this weekend. It's really good. Check it out.
What's the chemical that people used to use for like? It was back in like it was radioactive, but people used to use it for like makeup to glow.
Radium.
Radium. Thank you. I knew
because they call them the Radium Girls.
The Radium Girls, and they all got cancer. But
yeah, we actually talked about that on one of these podcasts one time because I had just read that book. Oh, the description's rough.
Yeah,
rough. I mean, yeah, because they were putting it on their teeth because it makes
on the teeth glow.
Oh my
and,
god,
like, makeup.
Yeah, they were putting it on makeup and stuff until they were just basically, and of course they all got like weakened bones because they're all ingesting it because they would use the paintbrushes when they were like writing on the little wash styles. They were getting the paintbrushes pointed by putting it in the lips. You do that enough times, you basically just irradiated yourself. So
you can smear lightning, but they stink. Lightning bugs. If you smear the lightning bugs on for glow,
really?
you smash up lightning bugs. It stinks. They don't smell good.
I have never done that. I mean, I'll put them in a jar.
Why would you smash a lightning bug?
I don't know why I would smash one.
No. I just know when you put them in a jar, you smell the jar. The jar smells disgusting. So I know they smell like. So I would never smear.
I don't really sniff bugs like that. That's a new one.
You let them go.
I get them in the jar, and then of course I was a kid. I would never put enough holes in the top of it.
They all die.
Unfortunately,
but you open it up and you get a whiff of the smell. Sorry,
I never do that. I usually by the time I open that jar,
I wasn't like sitting like sniffing the jar. It's just you could smell
like a
it. Like
experience that I never got.
I am so glad. My name this week was going to be Stankonia, and I should have left it there. No wait, I did leave it Stankonia.
You did leave it there. Yeah,
I think I was supposed to change it to Shiza Sprint. I was change it back to that. So anyway, we on some stank stuff, so I'm back on. We're on Stankonia today.
Oh, yes.
Stank.
Oh, the stank. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have lightning bugs up in Canada?
We not really where I live. They are just starting to come back. I don't know. When I was growing up, we didn't have lightning bugs. Like I had never seen them until like within the last 4 years.
Okay.
And up at the cottage is when I first saw them, and that's like 4 hours north of where I live. And I was like, oh my god, there's lightning bugs. It was like super magical. And I was with my grandparents, and then they were reminiscing about when they were kids growing up in the city I live in when there was lightning bugs. But something about like, I don't know, just getting rid of certain plants and foliage and like building up the land just killed them all off.
They used to have a lot more lightning bugs here when we were kids, but I think because they spray so much.
Yeah,
because I used to have a whole bunch. Because I have a whole bunch of trees in the backyard around my deck.
Yeah,
and there used to be like every year it was like I mean lightning bug just party right there.
But the Air Force sprays. So the Air Force still does that. They do the low runs. They don't do it as much as they used to. In the 90s, they used to do this like they would come by and the Air Force would spray the whole area for the mosquitoes. So you'd have chemicals just in the air everywhere. And they found out that was like super unhealthy, but they were just doing it to the American citizens because, why not? Or they just like fly over the treetops.
Especially like in Deep Creek, like in Chesapeake, where it's like really, really bad mosquito problems.
Yeah, and they would just spray, like carpet bomb the entire area for mosquitoes.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like just indiscriminately. Just spray everything. Yeah. And you'd smell in the air. Like it was gross. Anyway, that was back to the stink.
Yeah. Well, yes, we do have them, but they're very not around here. My grandpa grew up, it was still like all farmland here where we live now. And he's lived in the same city his whole life.
Yeah.
So now it's like very suburban, kind of built up. Like
this area where Alondo lives used to be farmland. He lives over by where the Mennonite villages were.
Yep.
I live over in Hilton, which was developed in like 1910s. But before that, I think it was just wilderness.
I mean, all land was wilderness.
Yeah, but I don't think it was any farm. I don't think it was farmland. That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody lived here. Like it was like it doesn't go back as far as your area does. Like the Mennonites go back to colonial times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were all part of what was it? Washington County.
Yeah.
What this all used to be part of.
And then Wirt County, and then that came to Purdue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fun times. Anyways, that's what we end this chapter though. With so we get some quest items, we level up and get our flute. That's going to be
got
super
loot.
important. You know, we get some what is it? You know, like level up. You know, your loot. That you get
because Kaladin got more hit points added to his stamina, so he's good there now.
Yep. Leveling up. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that replenishment. That replenishment. Trait now, so he can do that. Learned that
one of his bridgemen is actually an apprentice to some crazy wizard guy, something. So like he got this new ability unlocked. Like, yeah, dude, we're building the team now.
Mm-hmm.
We're building the team.
Yeah. Yep. He has a. What are they? We'll call him the Bard. I guess we'll call
the Bard.
We'll call Sigil the Bard.
Sigil the Bard. We've got the cook. We got the cook. We got Rock.
We definitely got a cook.
We got Tef, who's the soldier. You know, we're
Tef's the soldier. Yeah, we're getting a crew together.
This is a Final Fantasy crew. This is a we're
a Final Fantasy.
We're building our Dungeons and Dragons team.
I was gonna say a D&D. We're a knockoff D&D collective
campaign,
right now. There you go.
Now roll for perception. Perception check.
So Hoyd is the dungeon master then.
Yeah, Hoyd is the dungeon master. There it is.
Hoyd is the dungeon master.
I'm trying to think who's the rogue.
Who's the rogue?
Who's the most thievy?
Moash.
Moash. Yeah.
Moash.
Okay. I go with that.
Yeah.
I can't remember one-armed Herdazian's name right now.
Lopin.
Who's Lopin?
Lopin is a jester. I don't know. Is
he like the animal sidekick that everybody takes along, even though the DM's like, don't take the animal sidekick?
Pretty much.
They always roll really well.
The Lopin. He has like a plus 20 luck factor on his character sheet.
He's got plot armor up the wazoo.
Yeah, gotta have
what he lacks in arms, he makes up for in survival instincts. I don't know.
and we learn also that Syl is just not run of the mill like normal Sprintamon. She's like a legendary Sprintamon. So like she's one of the shiny ones.
She's like platinum.
She's a shiny. She's a shiny.
Which surprised absolutely nobody.
Ooh, Shallan.
No.
Shallan could be the rogue thief. Yeah, Shallan could, but
Shallan's not in this.
She's not in this party. She's not in this party.
We're just talking bridge crew.
Just bridge crew right now.
Campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did try to do a thief, but she's very bad at it. So she's bad rogue.
Yeah, bad rogue. Not great.
She rolled low on that.
Yeah, she rolled real low
on her sneaky.
She got a 1 on a 20 side.
Yeah.
No, Capsule rolled once, just straight across the board when he was trying to do.
Yeah, it was just a bad night of rolling over there.
Like the DM was like, "What do you want to try?" It's like, "Let's try bread and jam." It's like, "But you tried it last time; it didn't work. Try it again. Try it again."
Yeah, Yasna.
I wanted to do bread and jam.
Everybody rolled low. It was they were hurting over there.
It's what the people want. They want the bread and jam. You bring them the bread and jam. But she hates bread and jam. I said. Bread and jam. Bread
Capsule.
And jam. Feed it to the girl. She'll get it there. Bread.
He is jam. Capsule was the annoying character in a Dungeons and Dragons game that gets killed off by the DM because he's so annoying. Keeps on bringing the same ideas. And like, we're just gonna kill you off. Like, you know what? Just you're dead. Draw the
guy that
sheet.
Continuously tries to do the same thing every time.
This is definitely the dude that shoots his own foot.
Yeah.
This is definitely that guy. I'm talking with an arrow. I'm not talking with a gun. I'm talking with an arrow. He shoots his own foot with an arrow. I mean, this is how dumb this guy is. I mean, it was the worst laid plan.
I can do it this time. Rolls a 1.
Exactly. That's exactly what in my brain. All right,
I can see right now kicking the dice.
One.
This is the one.
All right, one more time. We're gonna use
this is the one.
Potion this time. It's really
he's shaking.
Work.
He's shaking because he's got the addiction. He's like shaking. Yeah. Oh man, this is the one.
Yeah, and on the last one, what happened was he rolled 2 1s with advantage. Right, he had advantage on it, and he rolled 2 freaking 1s. That's what happened with the jam.
Oh man.
Hopefully D&D people know what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
I played one campaign once and I was pretty much asked to leave. So
like advantage is when you get to roll a d20 twice and you pick the highest number. And he got 2 1s.
And he got snake eyes?
He got snake eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. I was asked to leave because I just wanted to make goat cheese in space. And I was goat cheese. She was there.
Yes.
Goat cheese in space.
I was so on board with the goat cheese in space.
Everyone was, except for our DM.
Except for our DM.
Yeah, was not on board with goat cheese in space.
Who was very mad at us.
He was very mad. He did not like the goat cheese in space.
He's like, I put so much effort into this campaign. He wrote it himself. Did you know that? He's like, I wrote this.
He wrote the whole thing, and he was so upset because all I wanted to do was just make goat cheese in space.
Yeah. It was so funny, but I
was like, dude, I'll stop
really
playing if it really hurt in YouTube. If it's really like, if it's really that bad, Python says, I have questions.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Like we were figuring out ways because he'd come like, well, we can't do this because of this like particular rule, and I'm just like, well, we can work around it with this. And we would just get the side eyes.
Get the side eyes and be like, roll.
You can do, there's nothing you can do worse than letting somebody know that they can get to you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because then it's like, obviously they're going to keep doing the same thing.
Keep trying for it.
So, yeah.
Keep poking the bear.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, I heard you got a soft spot on the back of your head.
Yeah.
So
it blew up, and we were never allowed to play again because we ruined it with the cheese goats.
With the cheese goats. Yeah. We had this like the meeting with like the boss or whatever, and it was like he's like, so this is all the rewards we're gonna get. Is like, but will we get cheese? And he's like, no, there's no cheese. Then we don't want to go on the mission. Like, let's go find something else to do, guys.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Goodness. Now, were you supposed to be able to go into space, or you guys made that part up just on the
No,
time?
it was an expanse.
It was based on the expanse.
So it was all in outer space. It was an outer space tabletop. So it wasn't actually D&D.
And then I got in big trouble because I was like the negotiator. That was like my skill set. And I was supposed to go in and talk to the guy who's actually supposed to be a good guy. But I was like, listen, guy, I want this. I want that. I want blah, 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 blah. And was really mean to him.
Yeah.
And then apparently I messed stuff up for future missions because the guy hates us now.
Oh, wow.
It was
I was a one-armed...
Herdazian?
No, it wasn't a Herdazian. A belter. One-armed belter.
Oh, yeah, you
but
had like a super
I had
cool arm.
I had a robotic arm that didn't really work well, but I just used it to bludgeon people with because I was just a really dumb like tank character that was just really dumb, but just would go in and like make really stupid decisions. And I got really into my character and loved.
And I would steal stuff from Alan all the time.
Chaos because we would just go in and like they're like, all right, so we have to finagle and be like, all right, I'm running in and killing people. Like they're like, no, don't do that. I'm like, bludgeon.
Right. And then in our downtime, I would always sneak into Alan's room and steal stuff.
Yeah.
But he never caught me. So we just wanted to play and have fun, but we were not allowed to do that.
We were not keeping to the script.
No.
Oh, man.
Also, if you're listening, you know who you are. Sorry.
If you're listening, we love you. Sorry.
They really mean sorry, not sorry. They really mean sorry, not sorry. They're not sorry. Don't listen to them. I can tell they're not sorry. You're sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh.
It might be fun if he does still listen. I don't know.
I don't know if he does.
Sorry.
That'd be fun. Sorry. This is our apology.
Whoops.
You're attempting an apology.
This is it.
That's a fun little memory that we share, Alan.
It is. It was a fun little memory. Those are fun times. So, and I feel like you have to try to add new people to the game just so we can try to get us back on track.
Yeah.
And I was like,
no, there was no going back.
No, there's no going back. Anyways, that's how we end this chapter, though. Yeah, we end this chapter with Syl making her I guess concession that she'll leave, but of course she's not going to do it. And that's how we end the Wander Sail. Yeah, it's a fun chapter. This is it's a fan favorite chapter, as someone pointed out in chat earlier. The Wander Sail is a good one, just because it has a lot of implications for the whole series. A lot of little.
You can tell there's sneaky things in there. I just don't know what any of them are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like you're just being dicks for no reason. Hey, listen, Pythos.
Who said that?
All right, Pythos. Listen.
Pythos.
This was my first time ever playing, and I knew that this was. So I came in with the warning before we even started that I'm going to try to make this as fun as possible for myself. And if that becomes a problem, let me know, and I will gladly exit.
Yeah.
So
You totally
that
did.
was up front. For day one before we even started the campaign, I said, listen, I'm going to make this as much fun for me as possible. And if that ends up being too much for you, just let me know offline and I will casually kill my character off and leave.
Yeah.
Actually,
I remember. No, you said that to everybody because I
did.
remember you
Very
saying
first session.
that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, everyone, I just want to have fun. If it's too much,
Just let me
Honestly.
know and I'll leave.
But like, I was on board with you too. I just wanted to have fun. Like, this was one of my first D&D things too. I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to hang out with my friends. Yeah, I'm like, it's a game. It shouldn't be so serious. But I understand he put a lot of work into it. He made it up himself, right? Like, that took time. That took effort.
Yeah.
I get it. Whatever.
Yeah. I think the last session he just got up and walked out. And we're just like all sitting around like,
exactly
is he coming? Is he coming back? And like he never came back. We're like, I guess this is over. Like,
yeah, then we just ended up hanging out and drinking. Like, all right, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Anyway,
but no, we weren't mean on purpose. We just
mean on
wanted to
purpose.
have fun. We were just making it silly.
We were having fun with it.
And we just wanted cheese.
We wanted cheese. That's all. Just cheese.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all we wanted.
Just give us the cheese and nobody gets hurt.
Well, specific goat cheese, right?
Well, the goat cheese became because we're in space on a spaceship, and we figured that if we need unlimited supply cheese, we can make our own cheese. And cows are too big to fit on a spacecraft, so we needed goats. Because then, if we have goats, we can milk the goats and make our own goat cheese in space and start our own cheese cartel.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you get cats then? Just get some cats. You can milk a cat.
Cat cheese? No, not enough. Not enough cheese.
Not enough cheese. Not enough cheese.
Cats don't have the udder.
So that's where the goat cheese came from. Is goats could fit on a spacecraft. So the entire campaign we were looking for goats. Like we really just wanted goats. That's all we wanted.
It's true. Goats and hoes. Sorry.
And we've gone on this huge tangent.
Was that in the first movie or the second movie? The milk the cats thing. Was that in the first Meet the Parents or the second one?
I think it was the second Meet the Fuckers or whatever.
I never remember which one.
Yeah, I think it was the second.
Those things all run together for me. Wasn't there three of them? There's three of those movies, I think. Those Meet the Parent movies.
No, it wasn't the first one.
Because Barbara Streisand is in one of them. I think she's his parent. Robert De Niro is whatchamalady's parent in the first one. And I think that's the one where he does the milk cat thing in the first one.
You're right.
The first one.
He's like, oh, would you milk me? That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember that. Yep. Good times. Yep. So, favorite character?
I'm actually going to do a repeat.
Ooh, who are you doing?
So I said same guy I said last time, Sigzil.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick
even though he didn't even speak this whole chapter, either the chapters. He's my favorite guy. He was mentioned, so now I like him even more now that I know he was the apprentice under Hoyt.
Yeah, totally. Very good pick. I'm going with Gallant for sure.
Gallant.
He's a good boy, and I love him.
Gallant's a good boy.
If anything happens to him, Alan, I will riot.
He's a good good absolute unit of a boy.
Yes. I'll choose Hoyt just because it's Hoyt. And any Hoyt chapter, I like to pick Hoyt because Hoyt's fun. Hoyt.
Did you pick Hoyt in any of the other?
I probably did.
Books that we read. I just wonder. Maybe you did.
I probably did.
That'd be a fun little sneaky thing for you to do, Alan.
I
think I did.
It seems like you would have done that
before they named him. I was like, yeah, I'll pick the random beggar. And you're like, why? I'm like, just guys.
Yeah. Because he's the random beggar that had the info on the Warren families, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't find his name until the end of the series, just like in the epilogue, right?
He's named in the first book.
Yeah, you did say that. Yep. But
it's in passing.
But you don't really know it's him.
No. It's in passing.
You don't know that name is referring to that character.
And then in Elantris, he's not named to the very, very, very end in Elantris.
Yeah, that was the name of that one. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's the epilogue.
Yeah, that's
Elantris is the one that's the epilogue. Yep.
But names are too. Anyways, it's a fair character. It's nice. So next week we'll be doing let's see how many chapters. I think it's just I think it's three or two. Let me see. Two.
Oh, two again. Okay.
Two again. Two again.
Unless we do a special episode because Alondo's at Jordan Cup.
Unless we do a special
Which
episode.
I'm saying there's still people there on Monday, Alondo. Like, I think you should just enjoy your time.
So the names of these chapters are chapter 58 is The Journey.
That's descriptive.
Yep. And then chapter 59 is An Honor. It was an honor.
Oh, that sounds ominous.
Yeah, it does sound ominous. That sounds bad. That sounds bad.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
Do we need...
It's been an honor. That sounds like somebody getting ready to go down.
Right?
And knows they're about to go down.
Yeah. It's been an honor.
Yeah.
Classic last line.
Mm-hmm.
As they salute and get trampled by horses or something like that. It's like classic. It's been an honor.
And somebody
like I said,
too.
you know someone's gonna get killed if they start telling a backstory about themselves and like once they miss home or something, instantly dead. And then you definitely know they're gonna die if he says it's been an honor.
Yeah.
That means kamikaze, sacrifice, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks for you.
Yep.
Well.
Oh, someone just in chat said, "Oh my god, finally getting to honor chapter."
Oh, geez, that must be a pretty important chapter then.
Oh boy.
Just kidding. I don't remember chapter names.
Very good. I love it. I love the subversion. I love the subversion. Do it.
I mean, I'm already nervous.
Look, if I was gonna rank quotes, comments right now, that would definitely be number one. I mean that combination. But number two is whoever came in and said "show enough" after I talked about the last dragon. Whoever that person was, they would definitely be my second favorite.
There you go.
Quote of the comment of the evening, though. Show enough. But yes, that I love the subversion. What was the chapter I want? I don't remember the chapter.
Right.
Love it.
That was so good.
Yes, that's a classic one.
Yep. Well, how you can be found is at thecosbyreads.com. It's a website. Find links to all sorts of cool stuff, Patreon, merchandise, all the cool way to support us. Or you can just join Discord, social medias, all that good stuff as well. Like, subscribe, comment, all the things that you're supposed to say, right? Whenever you do YouTube stuff, right? Or any kind of, write reviews.
Comment.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, do that stuff. Be a lot cooler if you did, man.
Well, you have to always say smash that like button. For some reason,
the like button. Yeah.
I don't know who started that, but I really wish they would stop. I'm so tired of people saying
smash the like button. There you go. It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Because you're enthusiastic. Smash.
Yeah, but smash has a whole nother
pass the like
button.
I had a thought the other day that we tell people to join the Discord, but we don't tell them it's actually the Wheel Reads Discord.
It is.
But it's our Cosmere Reads Discord.
We could start a separate one, but there's a section for the Cosmere Reads and a section for Feather Mountain. There's a section for most of it's the Wheel Reads. But yeah,
maybe we should do another Discord.
We could. It's a lot of management, but yeah.
I only have like 50 of them. I can squeeze another one in there.
Sure.
You have 50 Discords? Jeez, I have.
Why not?
Literally, I'm looking at.
I
have 5 and 6, and one of them is yours. Tree. That's
Thank you.
Yeah,
See, what happened was during COVID, all of our friends that we met from the other Discords all started making their own Discords, and I had to join all of theirs, or else I was a big fat meanie head.
Oh no. Yeah.
Ian and I have been brainstorming on ideas for when the Will Reads. We finish with the Will. What we're gonna do next? For the Will Reads. So that's. We have ideas. So.
Are you gonna do like a whole new podcast name and everything?
We might. We might do something completely different.
That's exciting.
We might do something completely different, like nothing to do with fantasy at all. I don't know. We've been talking about some crazy harebrained ideas. We'll see. We'll see.
Did you guys do the prologue book? Spring.
New Spring. Yeah, we did.
New Spring. Okay, you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys did it. You guys did it in chronological order, not in published order.
We did a published order.
In publishing order, yeah.
Because I thought that book came out afterwards, didn't it?
That came
No.
out halfway through. It came out after Crossroads, I think, or before
I
Winter's
thought
Heart.
it was Fires of Heaven.
Okay.
No, that's when you
I just know
can read it, but it came out later. But anyway, we
gotcha.
read it somewhere in the slog.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we did between Winter's Heart.
Order, it's before everything, right?
Yeah, chronological, yes, but published order is not. Yeah. Which I don't think you should read it chronologically. I'm a big fan of not.
I agree with that. I agree. Don't read it chronologically.
I read it after I finished.
Just because of one particular character, and that's why I don't like to read it early, is because of Catswing. Sorry, but I'm not going to say anything more about Catswing. But
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So that's. Now we're just rambling about random Wheel of Time stuff. So
What else is new?
That's all I got for this week, guys. So see you guys next week.
Cool. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Cosmere Reads.
Gosh dang, gosh, fresh. Gosh dang, gosh, fresh.